Okay, so an interesting trade just happened. An interdivision trade happened between the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins trade DeVante Parker to the Patriots for a third-round pick. And then the Patriots get a fifth-round pick back. So you're not even gaining draft capital here. You're just moving up a couple of rounds. And it's actually, what's interesting is they're giving up the third-round pick or the Dolphins get a third-round pick in 2023. The Patriots get that pick, their fifth-round pick, in 2022. So the Patriots actually get more draft picks this year, along with getting a player in Parker who's pretty good. I mean, I like Parker. I think he's a solid player. Obviously, he had that 1 year where that was kind of his breakout year where, he mossed Stephon Gilmore seemingly all the time in that Week 18 matchup, or I guess Week 17 matchup. So that was kind of his shining moment. That entire year, he was very good with Fitzpatrick. He was never the best fit with Tua, which does kind of make sense. Parker's much more of a jump ball type guy. Tua is much more of like a lead the receiver type guy. So it wasn't a great fit. And now that the Dolphins do have Tyreek Hill, they don't need a number one receiver. And quite frankly, they have two number one receivers now with Hill and with Waddle. But both of Hill and Waddle can play the slot. So I assumed Parker would still find plenty of time to get playing time. I'm surprised that the Dolphins made this move, largely because, so you're not getting much draft capital, but what's confusing about it is you look at the way the contract breaks down, they're only saving $3.3 million this year. Again, sometimes there's little things that are, included in the trade that don't come out until like the day after, so that's possible. Maybe the Patriots are taking on more of the cap space, maybe, but I mean, even if they're taking on all of it, again, that's still only $8 million you're saving. His cap isn't that high. Like, the actual money he's getting paid, it's pretty reasonable. So I don't really fully understand this move at all, quite frankly, from the Dolphins' perspective. You're trying to be competitive. Why not just, make a move like this, but to a division rival, a team that's going to certainly be competitive next year, and a team that you're going to have to try and, you're going to have to play multiple times, and you might be competing with for a division title. I know Buffalo is the obvious front runner, but who knows? Maybe Josh Allen gets hurt or something, and now New England is the number one threat to the division for a team like Miami who is trying to be competitive. So the actual trade itself, I don't know. I just don't get it from Miami's perspective. Love it from New England's perspective. I think this is the move New England basically had to make. They're not going to be paying him that much. So for a team like New England, who we kind of have questioned, why are you making some of these moves, like the Shaq Mason thing, to clear up cap space and then not spending that cap space on anybody? Well, here's a guy you're getting. And again, it's not a ton of cap space. It's not a ton of, I say cap space. Really what matters is actual cash. But, the actual cash itself isn't that much. So I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a weird situation. I know that, okay, so I don't know. I just don't get it. I guess that's my thing about the Dolphins. I don't understand why you go out and get rid of someone who's going to help your football team. Again, was it the best fit? No. But if this is all you're getting back, which is moving up 2 rounds in a later draft, I'd rather just keep him and sort of have a bad fit, good player on my roster, and maybe, something happens and maybe he ends up being decent regardless. Or maybe wait till the trade deadline, someone gets injured, and then you can go out and trade for somebody. To me, that would have made, or, trade him away. Like, let's say, for example, Tampa Bay, Mike Evans gets hurt. Well, now you can trade with Tampa Bay, and maybe they'll be willing to give up more because they're trying to be competitive right now. Something like that would have made a lot more sense from Miami's perspective. Again, unless they're really up against the money they can spend and had to clear a couple million, and this is the move they made, then I could kind of get it. But I don't know. From New England's perspective, so New England's roster construction, their entire offense, I liked their offense last year. It was good. I mean, they have a really good running game. Mac Jones had an awesome rookie year, good offensive line, and really good wide receiving core. The issue was what they lacked was a guy who can just go out on a 3rd and 5 and just win on the outside if there's a single safety deep. That's what they kind of struggled with, and Parker can do that. Parker is pretty successful at that. That's definitely his best attributes. So the fact that you now have that, again, it's kind of a perfect New England move, right? Of instead of going out and getting a superstar wide receiver who can do it all, they go out and get a guy who can do the one thing that they need. out of their receiving core instead of kind of using 4 players or 5 players to get the full receiving core, and they'll just use different guys in different spots and spending a lot less money to do it. So this is a great move from the Patriots' perspective. It's one of those where, listen, Bill Belichick started to get a little criticism these past couple of years. Obviously, Brady going out and winning a Super Bowl, then people, which is stupid because, like, obviously Belichick is awesome. Obviously Belichick is, the, okay, maybe Brady's the best of all time. Still, the guys who are in the conversation of the best of all time had nowhere near the success that the Patriots did, in part because of what Belichick did, not just coaching, but also with this GM stuff. I've always felt he's a underrated general manager, and a big reason why I think he's an underrated general manager is because of these moves like this that tend to fly under the radar. This one's a bit more well-known just because Parker is a more well-known player, but these kind of smaller moves, like Jabril Peppers is another one. These kind of, okay, maybe I'm not going to go out and get a superstar wide receiver, but what I am going to do is go out and get a guy who can complete this receiving core. It's a philosophy that's worked really well for the Patriots in the past, and it's actually not that dissimilar from like a baseball philosophy. I made the same comparison in my Jabril Peppers video about like, okay, what do, a lot of baseball teams will say, okay, sure, we could go out and spend a bunch of money on like a great third baseman, but instead let's just get like a decent third baseman who can hit lefties really well and a decent third baseman who can hit righties really well, and then just mix and match them. That's kind of what New England does a little bit. Will Parker be out there for every snap? Probably not. But will he be out there on third downs? Like, yeah, he'll be out there on every third down. So that's the benefit of a DeVante Parker. That's why you go out and you make this move. So what's interesting too is about this, I see this pointed out, is that Patriots should also get a 2023 third-round compensatory pick by losing J.C. Jackson. So in doing that, you're kind of actually, with this, gaining a 5th-round pick and DeVante Parker, if you think about it that way. Now, I'd rather have J.C. Jackson than any of those assets, but that's kind of another fun wrinkle here. So they're not really losing capital next year. They're just not getting extra capital like they otherwise would have with losing, you get comp picks for losing star players in free agency. So that's another interesting aspect. But as a whole, I mean, how much is this moving the needle? I think some. I think this does move the needle for the Patriots. Doesn't really move the needle that much for the Dolphins, so I'm not going to crush them for it because I don't think it's like a disaster, but it's just like, it's one of those, again, we've seen this in football's kind of weird, where it seems like good players constantly get traded for basically nothing, and at least like the Amari Cooper, it's like, okay, well, he's getting paid $20 million a year. Parker's not getting paid that much. So I don't really understand this at all from the Dolphins' perspective. I'm sure they have some reasoning, but right now, I don't get it. Love it for the Patriots, though. Patriots are very good. Patriots are still going to be good next year. People are really underrating them, I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.